I guess that's an important point for us to hit again and again and again, is that sometimes we get this impression that, well, it's my job to do my best as a husband and as a father and as a brother and as a son and in all these different familiar relationships that I have, and you can fill in the blank with your own. So I do the best I can, and I realize I fall short, so Jesus then fills in the gaps. I think the reality is I can't hope to even take one step forward in any of those relationships in isolation of His grace and His mercy and His empowering love for me to be able to do anything worthwhile. Any of these principles in here that are good and meaningful cannot be done in isolation of the Lord. That, to me, is the biggest takeaway, is I need help. With whatever my situation, my setting is, whatever the real life is separate from the ideal, I need the Lord's help. And if I'm really close to the ideal, guess what? I need the Lord's help. His infinite atonement is going to empower every one of us to take the next step forward in all of those relationships. And I love the fact that that fifth paragraph there ends with, it's kind of a prophetic warning to say, God's serious about this. This isn't just something that if you agree with it, great, and if you don't, great. It's fine. The wording here says, husbands and wives, mothers and fathers, will be held accountable before God for the discharge of these obligations. I don't see that as this big weapon, this threat that you behave or else, so that we move forward in fear. I see that as more of a reality check to say, oh, wait, of all of my responsibilities in life, I don't get that kind of warning with most of them, but I do in the home. Because there are a lot of people that can have my church calling that I have right now. There are a lot of people who can do what I do at work. There are a lot of people who can do what I do in the neighborhood. But I'm my wife's husband, and I'm my children's father, and I'm never going to get released from that. And I'm responsible for that.
That He entrusts us with these vulnerable spirits, right? And then our intimacy with them demands such a high moral responsibility to them. That's how family relationships are, which is why I think sometimes we can enter, I know this, I can enter into a place of shame that quickly when I know I should not have treated this child I love that way. I should not have done that. And we learn from that experience. And we also, just as you described so beautifully, we receive the Lord's mercy. When Jim Rasband talked about just the justice of God, that beautiful promise that His atonement covers the wrong we have done to others. And I don't know where else that would matter more to us than in our family lives when we know we haven't treated one another as we would want to. And yet He steps in and says, come with me, I'll help you grow, I'll heal them, I'll enable them to grow from it, and you'll become a better able to do what our heavenly parents are trying to help us learn to do.